Alright there, guys. I ain't gonna lie, I think this cylinder is actually worse than the other one. Because it's got a lot of pits and whatnot right there in the center. I think you guys can make them three out. There's one dead center, and then there's one right at the end of that mark going down, and then there's one right to the left of that. And that's just what I see. And this jug, or this motor, actually has some wear on it, believe it or not. There's actually a ridge up here I can catch my fingernail on, so I'm gonna say she's actually worse. And there's a pit. Can you guys make it out right there? So, I don't know. I was really hoping that one was better. And this one just has one big one right there. Well, my heater's ready to kick on, and I'm gonna go in and eat dinner here, and I'm gonna contemplate life for a little bit. I have a half notion to try and run this cylinder. I really want to put this thing together, and I want to try it out once, even if it smokes. I don't know. I don't totally know what to do at the moment. Well, I do know what to do, but I don't want to do it, if that makes sense. This one could probably be overbore and saved the whole way. This one, I don't know if 30 thousandths would take that pit out. It would take most of it out, but I don't know. So, that's the end of this day. Westchester hell continues. I haven't even got into trying to get them running. I'm just trying to get the motors turning. I don't know. I'm going to do some thinking. The blow-in is coming up here roughly in the next 2.5 weeks. Roughly. So I can get some parts for these things there, I believe. And I'm going to go from there. I'm going to see about the shift cable. Never did find it. I got another good hood, which hopefully that'll... I mean, that hood there isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not terrible, but if I got one better, I'm sure going to use it. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for right now, boys. So, yep. Got the part, broke the piston. I didn't even look to see. I'm sure it's standard bore, but wish I wouldn't have let the sludge get down in the crankcase, but what are you going to do when you pull it apart? Guess I could have jammed a towel underneath it. Oh well. Short version of a long story. I think this cylinder is worse. It's got a lot of rust pits, like right in a row, if that makes sense. There's a... I don't know if you guys can make them out there or not. There you go. See them. There's at least 4 or 5 about the same way the whole way around. So the original with one single rust pit probably isn't as bad, but it's up close to the top. So I'm gonna do some thinking. I could overbore them and fix them, but I don't know. So boys, just kind of want to take a video of a little bit of progress I've been making here this Saturday. I got a standard piston back in the original jug that I pulled off the whole tractor. And pretty much for right now, I think what I'm going to do is slap it back on there and just see what happens. I could probably overbore it, put a, I don't know, 20, excuse me, it's kind of late at night. 20 or 30 over piston in it and maybe clean up. But for right now, I just want to get the whole rest of the tractor working, and if I want to do that down the road, I'll do that down the road. Just see what it runs like. It's not going to get 1,000 hours on it in my lifetime. So the other thing I want to show you guys is the lifter setup. It has actual like lifters here for the push rods. Pretty much they sit down in the crankcase, the long side down. Lifter goes in here with the open side up. And pretty much this is how they sit in the tractor. So before I do anything else here, put everything back together, I JB welded the hydraulic pump pulley. So hopefully that'll hold together. I don't know. If not, I'll have to probably get the transmission out of the tractor and remove the fan and pulley setup and stuff and put the other one on, which may or may not be better. I don't know. Got the starter generator to turn, and when I finally did, I think you guys can see the pulley, how laid up that is. And that broke the lever for the high-low shifter, the planetary shift. And here's the pieces of that. It actually looks like a an L shifter that was cut down and drilled. Kind of what it looks like. The high-low shifter cable is stuck on the transmission side. So, excuse me again. Got that out of the tractor and just trying to get it unstuck. I mean, been trying everything possible. You can't heat it up too much because it actually melts. Ask me how I know. So yeah, that's pretty much the updates. So tomorrow, I guess, hopefully I'll come out here. I need to do some running tomorrow. I gotta go to the store and whatnot. So I want to hook a battery up to the starter generator and see if it even turns. Then I can put the cylinder and stuff back on. Can try getting the oil filter off, putting a mag to it, and then start into the carburetors and stuff. Because putting the top end together really won't take too much. So yeah, that's I think pretty much where I'm at. And we'll go from there. Alright? Alright, boys. Hopefully I'll see you in the morning. Oh, and I do have another one of them shifters in this parts frame. It's nice to have parts frames. Parts stuff. And I do have some buddies looking for parts for this thing, so see what we come up with. Alright guys, no major updates here on the Westchester, but I'm going to call it for the weekend here. It's just about 5 o'clock. Didn't remember to bring my shop vac out, and I vacuumed a lot of the sand out. There's still a good bit in there yet. I'll have to see if I can get the screen off on the fan deal there, and then I can suck it all out that way, I believe. I got the shifter switched off the other one, so we're back to square one there. And I still have not found a cable yet. Still on square zero. A buddy of mine has a cable. I have it hanging up there. I'm trying to monkey with the distributor, but it's hopelessly stuck. So I'm just going to leave that alone. And I see no reason why an L magneto won't work. I'm going to actually sit it on there and try it once. And that's something I can do through the week. Just stick it on there and see if it'll fit. I know it's the same transmission. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Got the, I think I mentioned the starter generator spins now. I oiled up the front bearing that was locked up. Generator pulley is pretty messed up. I don't know if I showed that on video. I took some pictures. But as you guys can see right here, it's pretty gnarly. It would eat the belts up pretty quick. So same buddy that has Westchester parts has one of those. Haven't tested the generator yet. As much as I've been cranking it over by hand, I haven't gotten any oil to come out, but I haven't been cranking it very long or very fast, so put the cylinder back on and we'll wheel her over either with a drill or maybe I can get the starter generator to work. And then we'll go from there, because once I get the cylinder on, I can try and get this thing to run. I did take the hydraulic hose off that's blown, and I'll see if I can get one made up. That hydraulic unit over there has a pulley on it, where the one from this tractor does not. And this tractor I put fresh ATF in it, so put it back on. I know it worked because it was good enough to blow the hose. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. So calling it a weekend, guys. Next week, maybe we'll try and get this thing running. You know, won't take a whole lot to slap cylinder on, as long as the starter generator is functioning. And just you know, hear it pop off once, we won't really be able to drive it. I could probably lock it in one range or the other here and just run it that way. I also have to remember I have no brakes. That's something that can be dealt with later, but yeah. Going for operational, not pretty. My usual style. So, later, guys. Alright, boys, it's the start of a new weekend. It's been a rough week at work. Let's just say trailer may have got totaled. Got rear-ended by a triaxle. You know, so I got a battery from Tractor Supply here. On sale, boys. $75 instead of $109. So, starter generator does turn. And as you guys can see, that rough spot. I think I showed it or mentioned it 1,000 times. And that rough spot makes it extremely unbalanced. So, yeah. Supposedly a buddy of mine, which I will get the parts from him at the blow end, has another double pulley. So that'll make this okay. I guess before I go putting the cylinder on, I want to make sure a Wyco mag will work on this. Or a regular L mag for anybody else in the world. Then we'll worry about putting the cylinder on, I guess. And we'll go from there. Alright? Alright. Alright, boys. Let's see if we can get this oil filter off. There is no no markings left on it. Oh, actually moved. I figured that was going to be a fight. Ooh, what kind of oil filter do we have? Yellow. What'd you boys think? Pennzoil? Get it off and look at it a little closer. So there's some residue of oil left in there, so that's a plus. It's not full, but judging by how long this thing is set, I am not surprised. So that was better than expected. Guess while you guys are sitting there, I don't have a long oil filter, so I know everybody just loves Fram filters, but listen, it's what I got right now, and this is actually the last oil filter I have for my L's. So I'll have to buy some more. Actually, I better keep the box, because I remember they changed the numbers on Fram stuff. Alright, so I guess next we'll sit a mag on there and see if they're going to line up. Alright, boys, I ain't gonna lie. I've been out here for a little over 2 hours and my feet are freezing. It's just so bloody cold out. My wood stove is keeping it up to 40 in here right now. The big heater runs every 10 minutes or so. So being honest, I'm gonna go inside, and tomorrow it's supposed to be 25-30, so come back out. I'm to the point of putting the cylinder on. And once I put the cylinder on, then I can start working on making sure the mag timing is going to work out and everything. And I'm going to have to put some gasket maker on the bottom of this, because this gasket is tore up and everything. So yeah, I'm just going to wait till it's warmer. There's no reason to be out here freezing. The next 2 days are going to be so much warmer after tomorrow morning. So I'll catch you guys then, unless I get ambitious here later, but I'm going to unplug my big heater, and I'm going to keep my wood stove stoked up here. It's supposed to be real cold tomorrow morning, somewhere around 5 degrees or something, I think, so I'm just going to try and keep it from freezing out here, and if I can do that with just the wood, be doing pretty good. So, anyhow, catch you guys Saturday afternoon, maybe. Alright boys, I'm going to attempt to put the cylinder back on the Westchester here. Got a little bit of goop going on the bottom here just to seal it. I don't want it to leak. I really don't want to have to pull this again. I mean, if I have to, I have to. You guys know how it goes. So, I'm trying to do this all in one piece, but what I like to do on L's, and there's enough room to do it, is you drive the wrist pin in just ever so slightly past the inside of the piston, and then you can kind of get that started in the rod. Get my hammer a little closer. Ow! Just the crap out of my finger. I might have to do this cylinder. Everything on the whole way up. Really. Yeah, the rod's pretty much the whole way up. Into the gasket maker, nice. Should be started there. Back up. Yep. Trying not to get this gasket maker all over everything. Would that hurt where I pinched my finger? Oh, I just did it again. That's why I hate gasket maker. But I'm going to attempt to put the clip in. Okay, I got the clip in. Let me get a flashlight and look at this gasket maker. Around the valve guides here is where I'm most concerned. I think I still got plenty there. Can always smear some around the outside if it becomes a problem. Now's a good time. I had looked at this before a little bit, but make sure your gasket surfaces are clean. Well, I guess. Where's the dead blow at? Dead blow. Just hammer it down on, hopefully. Starts down on the studs, okay? Pretty sure it started down on the studs, I think. The only reason I'm having to hammer it is the taper on the piece sticking down into the block. That's what it's tight on. So I pretty much think I got it here. Put the lock washers on. Have you guys heard the ice falling off the roof? Pretty much I'm going to put the lock washers on, tighten up at least the easy to get to cylinder nuts here, so I can turn it over. This will let the gasket maker set up some and everything else. I got a buddy coming over tonight, so maybe we'll try and get this thing to run. And we'll go from there. Trust me when I say you guys don't want to see me fiddle with these cylinder bolts for hours. So. BRB. So boys, a couple of my buddies were over here and we were talking, working on some stuff. They were helping me. Got the pulley off the starter generator. I got the valve unstuck on the cylinder head, which I forgot was stuck and went to turn it over and bent a push rod, but that's a whole nother story. So they got the original distributor apart, which is pretty much junk. I mean, look at the mech and that and everything. We took this one off the parts tractor, which it actually spun. And everything looks good inside. We didn't disassemble this one the whole way, but everything works, so I don't know. I might just put that in there and get it running normally, and if I have any trouble with it, I'm just gonna go to plan B back there, which is the old Whiteco spark box, and we'll go from there. So really, I'm not that far off from getting this thing running, guys. Other than cleaning a carburetor, which this carburetor here, the shafts actually move on it and everything. So I will probably take it apart. It has all the screws on it and the linkage. So yeah. Maybe tomorrow I'll take this carburetor apart and see what's going on in door number 1. Actually, I put this push rod in upside down too. Interesting. Well, I can fix that. But anyhow, take this carburetor apart and see what's going on. And even this distributor was full of all that sand stuff. So yeah, got the pulley off of this hydraulic pump and put it on that pump. Might have to do a little bit of aligning while it's on, but that's okay. And I'm not going to put the hydraulic pump back on until I put the carburetor on. And I kind of want to get it sparking before I put the carburetor on, so I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow, and maybe I'll get in the swiping mood and I'll steal the clip for that and put on there, run the cable and everything else. So yeah, there's a pulley. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff to the blow-in as like a show and tell.